Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and technically doing a Barrel Dragon Metalmorph deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck is the ultimate Bandit Keith deck and it's so fun to be able to play. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Again, your name, description, every single video, gonna get signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 2 copies of Barrel Dragon. This card is extremely easy to get out on your side of the field with copies of Fusion Deployment and other cards in this deck that just make it so easy to summon out your copy of Barrel Dragon. This card is really cool because you toss a coin 3 times, and if 2 of the 3 results are heads, you destroy a monster on your opponent's side of the field, which is a great effect to instantly pop an opponent's monster. We then played 2 copies of Blowback Dragon. Blowback Dragon is great to be able to play in the deck as a 2 of. Again, easy to summon out to your side of the field cards like Fusion Deployment. But this card is where you toss a coin 3 times, and if at least 2 of the results are heads, you pick 1 card on your opponent's side of the field and destroy it, which is a really cool effect. We then played 3 copies of Desperado Barrel Dragon. Desperado Barrel Dragon is definitely a 3 of in the deck and just an awesome boss monster. As if a face-up Dark Machine monster control is destroyed by battle by card effect, you can instantly special summon this card from your hand to your side of the field. And once per turn, during the battle phase, quick effect, you can toss a coin 3 times and destroy face-up monsters on the field up to the number of heads, and if all 3 were heads, you also get to draw a card. And this card cannot attack the turn you activated this effect. And if this card is sent to the grave, you can add a level 7 or lower monster that has a coin tossing effect from your deck to your hand, which is an awesome ability to instantly get to either Barrel Dragon or Blowback Dragon, so we can basically go in for Gatlet Dragon. We then play a single copy of Metal Zoa X. Metal Zoa X is great to be able to play in the deck as a 1-of, and so cool to be able to play this card alongside Barrel Dragon. This card is really cool because you can actually reveal this card in your hand, shuffle it back in the deck, and set a Metalmorph trap directly from your deck to your side of the field. And to be able to summon out this card, you have to use Max Metalmorph and tribute a level 5 or higher Fiend monster to summon this card out to your side of the field. Plus, this card can also, up to twice per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect or a spell effect, quick effect, you can target a face-up monster opponent controls and destroy it, helping you pop cards on the field. We played a single copy of Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon. This card is really good as a 1-of in the deck and extremely powerful because this card is a walking negate in the deck and can also do some burn damage to your opponent. We then played 3 copies of Metal Illusionist. Metal Illusionist is really cool as a 3-of in the deck. This card has a really cool effect that you increase this card's level to 5 during your opponent's turn only. And then this card is normal or special summon. You can actually set a Metalmorph trap directly from your deck. Then if Max Metalmorph is in your graveyard, you also get to draw a card. And you can declare 1 other monster type. And this card becomes that type until the end of your opponent's turn, getting the exact type of monster you need on your side of the field to either summon out Red Eyes Full Metal Dragon or your copy of Metal Zoa X, either turning it into a Fiend monster or turning it into a Dragon monster. We then play a single copy of Zoa the Fiendish Beast. This card is really good as a 1-of in the build and just really powerful in the deck to be able to summon out to your side of the field, so you can basically step into your copy of Metal Zoa X. Plus, it's really nostalgic to be able to play Zoa in a Barrel Dragon deck. This card is usually if your opponent controls a monster, you can normal summon this card without tributing, and if this card's in your hand, you can also special summon this card from your hand in defense position. Then if Max Metalmorph is not in your graveyard, your opponent can also special summon a monster from their hand, and during your main phase, you can set a Metalmorph trap directly from your deck to your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Keeper of Dragon Magic. Keeper of Dragon Magic is great in the deck as a 3-of because this card instantly searches out your copy of Polymerization so you can step in your copy of Gatlet Dragon. And this card also has a really cool ability that you can actually reveal a fusion monster in your extract to special summon 1 of its fusion materials that's specifically listed on it from your graveyard in face down defense position, which will help you bring back your copy of either Barrel Dragon or Blowback Dragon or even another card that we're also playing in this build. We then play 3 copies of King of the Swamps. King of the Swamps is definitely a 3-of in the deck because this card can be discarded to the graveyard to be able to add Polymerization from your deck to your hand, and this card can also be substituted as any material for a fusion summon, making this card really powerful in the deck to be able to fusion summon the exact card that you need. We then finally play a single copy of the Red Eyes Black Dragon. Red Eyes Black Dragon is great as a one-of in the build because we can easily summon this card out to our side of the field, so we can basically go in for a copy of our Red Eyes Full Metal Dragon by using Max Metalmorph, and this card is very easy to summon out to your side of the field with cards like Fusion Deployment and cards like Keeper of Dragon Magic, making it really easy to bring this card out to your side of the field, so you can basically go in for your copy of your Full Metal Dragon. Plus, it's really cool to be able to play Red Eyes and Zoa in the same deck alongside Barrel Dragon. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get in to the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start off with 2 copies of Polymerization. Polymerization is great in the deck to help us summon our copies of Gatlet Dragon, and it's just a really cool card overall in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Fusion Deployment. Fusion Deployment is definitely a 3-of in the deck, so we can actually reveal Gatlet Dragon to be able to summon out either Blowback Dragon or Barrel Dragon, and we can also reveal Red Eyes Dark Dragoon to summon out our copy of the Red Eyes Black Dragon, since it is specifically listed on the card, which is really cool to instantly get it out on our side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Incoming Machine. This card is basically Rhoda for Metalmorph, which is really cool because this card has the ability that you can add a monster that mentions Max Metalmorph or a Metalmorph trap from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is a great ability to instantly search out Metal Illusionist, your copy of Zoa, or even a copy of the Max Metalmorph, which is such a cool effect to instantly grab the exact card that you need. And also, if you control a Metalmorph trap, you can manage to carve from the graveyard to target a defense position monster your opponent controls and change it to attack position, which is a really cool effect. We then play 3 copies of Heavy Metal Raiders. Heavy Metal Raiders is really cool because this card actually has basically all of Bandit Keith's monsters on it, and it's a really cool field spell as well because this card has the ability the first time each Dark Machine monster you control would be destroyed by battle, each turn it is not destroyed. And if you took battle damage from the battle, it gains that much attack after damage calculation. And it keeps that attack as long as this card remains face up on the field, which is a really cool effect because the majority of the times the way your opponent's going to have to deal with your copy of Zoa or your copy of Full Metal Dragon, they're going to have to either swing over it or deal with it with a trap card, and with this card it makes it that much harder to be able to deal with your big Metalmorph monsters. This card also says that once per turn, if a monster you control that was originally a Dark Machine is destroyed on the field by battle by card effect, you can special summon a Dark Machine monster from your hand, which is a great effect to help you bring out your copy of Barrel Dragon to your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. Allure of Darkness is really good in the deck to help us dig into the deck for the exact cards that we need. We can also play 3 copies of Limit Removal. Limit Removal is really good in the deck to double the attack of our machine monsters so we can go in for game. So that's it for these spells, guys. Let's get in to the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start with a single copy of Time Engine. Time Engine is really good in the deck, but once you resolve this card, you're usually going to instantly win the game. This card has the ability, this card is always treated as a Metalmorph card, so it is searchable in the deck through a lot of different cards. And it has the ability, if a monster you control is destroyed by battle by an opponent's card effect, target one of those monsters and special summon it. Then if you special summon a level 5 or higher machine monster by this effect and have a Metalmorph trap in your field or on your field or in your grave, except this card on the field, you can destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, then inflict damage to your opponent equal to the special summon monster's original attack, which is a great effect to be able to use to instantly be able to just deal with your opponent's field so we can go in for game. I did actually consider playing 2 copies of this card, but it's so searchable that I just decided to play 1. We then played 2 copies of Max Metalmorph. Max Metalmorph is great to be able to summon out both of our Max Metalmorph monsters, and this card is just really cool in the deck, as it has the ability to contribute a face-up monster to special summon a monster that cannot be a normal summoner set that mentions Max Metalmorph from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Then you equip this card to that monster, and it gives it 400 additional attack and defense points, and it cannot be destroyed by spells or monster effects, and your opponent cannot target it with monster spell effects either, which is a great effect to be able to use to instantly equip to a copy of Zoa or a copy of Full Metal Dragon, making it very difficult to deal with your opponents or deal with those monsters. Plus, if you put your copy of Heavy Metal Raiders on the field plus this card, it makes it extremely difficult for your opponent to deal with your big Metalmorph monsters. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get in to the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with Gatling Dragon. Gatling Dragon is really cool as a 2-of in the deck, and this card is actually amazing. It lets you pop multiple cards on the field because you toss a coin 3 times and destroy a number of monsters on the field equal to the number of heads, and this card does specifically list Barrel Dragon and Blowback Dragon, so you can use Fusion Deployment to be able to instantly get either or on your side of the field, which is why I'm just playing 2 of each in this build. We're going to play a single copy of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon is great in the deck because you can use Fusion Deployment with this card since it specifically lists Red Eyes Black Dragon to be able to summon out to your side of the field. Plus, this card is amazing to be able to summon out to back up your copy of your other cards on your side of the field. And this card is very easy to summon in this deck. You have cards like Fusion or your copies of King of the Swamp with your copy of Polymerization. You can count as Dark Magician to be able to summon out this card to your side of the field. Plus, this card is a walking negate. And like a single copy of Time Wizard of Tomorrow. Time Wizard of Tomorrow is easy to summon because you can use a copy of King of the Swamp to be able to summon this card out, because Time Wizard can be counted as the King of the Swamp since it is a fusion substitute monster. So you then just use an effect monster plus King of the Swamp to make this card, and it's just too cool not to play in this deck because it's a coin toss monster. It helps you board wipe the field so you can go in for game. We'll play a single copy of Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Flare Metal Dragon does burn damage to the opponent every time they breathe. So every time they activate a card effect, they take 500 points of damage, which is really cool to be able to do. And it's also very easy to summon in this deck. We'll play a single copy of Typhon. Typhon belongs in every single extract that can make it. In this deck, it can easily make Typhon, so it's definitely a 1-of. We'll play a single copy of Underworld Goddess. Underworld Goddess is great just in case you need to out a towers like boss monster. 1 copy of Access Code. Access Code is awesome because it comes out absolutely massive and pops multiple cards on the field. We'll play a single copy of Nightmare Unicorn to spin stuff. 1 copy of Selene because Metal Illusionist is actually a spellcaster monster instead of an illusion monster, so you can use Selene to bring it back to your side of the field so you can step into Access Code. My single copy of Nightmare Phoenix to pop spells and traps. 1 copy of the Dark Charmer, since we play so many different darks in this deck, so we can step into this card, and then step into Selene, and then Access Code very easily in this build. 1 copy of SP. SP is great in the deck as 1-of, just to be able to use as a double interruption. 1 copy of IP. IP is also really good, so you can step into your copy of SP, Unicorn, or Underworld Goddess during the opponent's turn. And then finally play a single copy of Cross Sheep, since we are playing a bunch of fusions in the deck, and this card is really good to help you bring back your monsters from the graveyard, like your copy of Metal Illusionist. So you can keep climbing into your other cards like Selene, and then into Access Code just in case you need to. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is so fun. I would love to see a Metalmorph version of Barrel Dragon. I think that'd be so cool to actually have a machine upgraded version of Metalmorph to be able to actually see Barrel Dragon turned into a Metalmorph monster. But I really wanted to build this deck because it's so cool to have so much nostalgic Bandit Keith cards and be able to actually build a deck around Barrel Dragon using the Metalmorph cards. So that's going to do this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell there so you can become part of our notification squad. And we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.